Hi, Lily.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, I'm really excited to have met you, and you're just doing so much great work in the community, not only in the schools, but you create women's circles, which sound so safe
Mm.
and just sound so connected. And I know that we've spoken a lot about your healing journey as well. So it's like you know what it's like to come from somewhere and become
Mm.
something. And now you're helping other people with that safe space whilst
Mm.
seems like I don't know, you're doing so much. So you sound like you're a superwoman, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, that's a really kind introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically I just wanted to share with others another safe space that they can be in
Hmm.
Bangkok, and you've created that, and you've got a women's circle coming up, right?
Yeah, on the 15th. So I know it is slap bang in the middle of Songkran, but there are lots of people still here over the
Yeah.
city. So it is Saturday the 15th,
Yes,
1:30 till 3.
1:30 till 3.
Yeah, at
Okay.
the Green Room, a yoga studio on Sukhumvit 31.
Amazing. Yeah. I haven't been there yet, but I will like to check out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful space. Jen's done a really, really good job.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think it's good because I actually know there's a lot of people away this week anyway, so they'll probably
Mm.
will be back by then. So I think it's a
Yeah,
great time, and yeah, no, I think that's lovely.
that's cool. I
Um,
think we've got about 5 people coming so far, which is nice.
yeah,
Anywhere between kind of 6 to 8 people is a really nice vibe. Otherwise, the bigger it gets, it can just be a little bit overwhelming for some people. And
mm,
equally, there's just not enough time for everybody to maybe get the most out of it that that they would benefit from. So it's
yeah.
good.
So what happens at the women's circles?
So the women's cycles, we have a different focus. So we do them every month. And they're donation based. So it really is up to what people can afford if they want to. Some people genuinely come and don't pay, and that's okay. Like this is something that, um, like we do it as part of Mindful Sparks, my company. It's something a community event that we want to host. So we have a different focus. The one coming up in a couple of weeks is actually focusing on the breath and how the breath can help us calm down, relax, work through some tricky emotions or, tricky states that we might be experiencing. Just learn a little bit about the breath as well. Like, I think it's really important to understand a bit of the science and the reasoning behind why we do things like this. And I definitely think my background in education, like, it's so important to have that knowledge because then you can make your own decisions about how whether you want to learn more about it or whether you just kind of it's you just think, okay, like I have enough knowledge now. It might pop up for you a few years, days, weeks later that you want to explore that again. So there's always an introduction, an opportunity for people just to introduce themselves.
Mhm.
And actually, inspired by you, we have the traffic light kind of system. I
Oh,
remember having a conversation with you about that. So we've got the red, the yellow, the green. Basically, we have a card in front of everybody, and there'll be a stone or a crystal or a flower, and you can move it throughout the women's circle, kind of where your comfort level's at. Do you want to
mm,
share? Do you just want to listen? Do you just want to sit and be? So you can show that to other people, and that will determine, how much you interact and engage with others.
yeah.
Um, we combine meditation. Sometimes we do practicing like eye gazing or journaling. Um, I love creativity. So I bring lots of like color pencils and crayons and chalk, and sometimes we use those, and sometimes they're just there for fun.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
people just want to have a doodle, and that's fine. There's a lot of freedom in these women's circles. Like whenever we do reflections, it's very much down to you how you want that to look. Some
Mm.
people like to kind of sit in a more meditative state to reflect. Some people like to walk around. Some people like to lay down. Some people like to draw, right? So that's why we have all these different mediums for people to choose to really make it work for you, you know?
Yeah, and see what you're feeling on the day because,
Mm.
like you said, like I do with the bands as well, you can change them at any time. One minute you're a green and you're happy to share, and the next minute you're like,
Mm.
actually, we've hit a boundary and I'm not feeling comfortable. I would like
Yeah,
to just do some coloring right now. And I
yeah.
think everyone's inner child loves some coloring and creativity. It just, I don't know, it just releases something in us. And even me, my sister, when she came to visit at Christmas, she accidentally left her gel pens. I think they're for my nephews, and I've just gone wild. They're running out, and I'm like, no, my whole life now is just making notes and everything and pictures with
Right.
these colorful gel pens, and it just really connects with something from my childhood. I don't know, so I love that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And you said so this time you're going to do breath work.
Breath work. Yes, we're going to do some different types of breath work. Practicing it in a really safe space. And again, there's so many options for you, right? It's not like, right, we've got to sit down and do this, this, this. It's like, this is what it could look like. If you want to try it lying down, this is what it could look like. If you feel this is stressing you out or triggering you, or it's making you feel a bit anxious, that's fine. You can just go and chill and lay down. And we'll try, I think in this one we're doing 3 different types of breath work, mainly calming us down, maybe engaging that parasympathetic nervous system to really get us in this relaxed state. Because when we are in this relaxed state, physically, mentally, and emotionally, that's when we're able just to create that little bit more distance between us and if there's a challenge or a problem, us in a conversation, us in a person. It gives us that space just to pause a little bit and kind of think, okay, can I look at it a little bit more objectively? Can I look at it a little bit more clearer? Can I also identify my needs in this situation and where my boundaries lie? Am I able, based on this information and this information, to think about a resolution or a way forward at this time? Maybe I can, maybe I'm not. But hey, now I've got these 2 bits of awareness that I might not have had before.
Yeah.
And maybe that resolution or that step forward, or whatever it is that it would look like for you, might come a few days, a few weeks later. But to be able to just get you in that relaxed state, to give you that time and space to reflect on things, is super important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really do believe in breath work as well. Like I listen a lot to Jay Shetty, and
Yes.
despite what people may say about him, he says like if you can navigate your breath, you can navigate life. And often if you just tune into your breath will tell you like
So
how you're
much.
feeling. Like when you're having a panic attack, your breath is going. So if you
Yeah.
can honestly just change your breath, it changes everything. And someone told me something beautiful the other day. Oh, who was it? It will come to me. But they said that you can go on a train of just negative spiraling thoughts. So when you've got like one bad thought, suddenly I think of it as like you get in the box and all the bad thoughts that made you feel like that just keep coming up. So if you're trying to make a decision from that, no, everything is terrible, or I'm a bad person, or whatever state, you're never going to come up with a solution. So sometimes it's like, they said, do you want to stay on this train, or do you want to get off at the next station and get on a different train? So
Right.
just taking that space to just breathe, just be with the
Yeah.
body in the moment, because in the moment is all that matters.
Yeah.
The past
I
is the
agree.
past, future is the future, but we have now, and just connecting with that breath and seeing if some more solutions can come out of that. So yeah, I'm totally with you on
And
the
the best
breath.
thing about the breath is as well, like you don't need anything. You don't need props. You don't need to sign up to a gym membership. You don't need to be going to a yoga studio once a week. Like you don't need anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And with the other, training and workshops that we do focusing on mindfulness, like you've got you are it. And for some people, and I appreciate there can be financial barriers, physical barriers. There's so many barriers that can make it so much harder to commit to something, to wanting to bring about change.
Yeah.
But if it's just you have that all the time. And then, you practice it in like in a safe environment with guidance and other people. And then slowly it just begins to show up in your life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember I did that. Like, and it feels really weird and it feels really fake and it feels really forced because you're like, this isn't normal for me yet. But then the more you begin to practice it, the more natural it becomes. It becomes that habit, right? And then it becomes more of a state that, okay, I can feel myself getting annoyed, take a breath.
Yeah.
And it does show up. Like yesterday, prime example, totally thought I lost my passport. Not a good time to lose my passport. I'm going to forget on Thursday in Singapore in a couple of weeks. And I was like, oh dear. And
Oh dear.
turning the house upside down. It
So
wasn't quite, oh dear.
British.
I'm not, my language is normally a lot more colorful than that, but for the sake of this video, oh
No,
dear.
please, we like authenticity here. You just say it how it is,
Okay.
girl. Yeah.
And me and my husband just turning the house upside down, and I'm like, I only have it in 2 places because I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
And now I've lost it, and I only put it in 2 places. Oh my gosh. But I could feel myself getting into that spiral, exactly like you're saying. You're so stupid. Oh my God, you've lost your passport. Like, what an idiot. Like, da da da.
Yeah.
I could feel my breath moving to the upper part of my chest.
Yeah.
You know, that quicker, shallower breath. I could feel that. I could feel the tension coming up in my shoulders. I was on the verge of tears because I was so panicked. So I was like, oh my God, I can't afford to get a new passport.
Yeah.
And I did, and I was just I was walking around the house, just in my pants. It was really hot, and just being like, just breathe, don't cry, you'll find it. Just breathe, don't cry, you'll find it. Just saying that out loud to myself.
Yeah.
And like King's just looking at me, not sure whether to laugh or cry at me at that point. But I was like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
And even though I look like an absolute nutcase just walking around the house doing that, it did get me calmer. And it's funny now. It's obviously funny now because I found my passport and I'm like, oh, I can look back at all of that yesterday and laugh.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I was like, oh gosh, don't think about all these additional things that are going to happen. We just got to get through
Yeah.
now, you know? And then I went off, I had to go teach, and then I came back and I was like, okay, take 2. Oh, it's exactly where I normally put it, just in the secret compartment that I forgot that was there.
Oh no, that sounds like my safe place. I lose everything. I am one of those people, I just lose everything. It's so messy. So yeah,
Yeah.
that safe place is not good for me.
Yeah. But it's just showing like, okay, I was like, I know I have these tools in my toolkit. Breathe, don't panic, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And just repeating that little mantra, you know, it just stopped me. It didn't necessarily at that time bring me down, but it stopped me going further. It stopped the box, you know, to go back to your analogy earlier, it stopped the box opening wider. Just
Yeah.
kept it here,
Yeah.
you know? And that was enough. That's all I needed. I was like, okay, now at least I'm not like in floods of tears having to go and teach like an absolute wreck. I'm just a little bit stressed, but I can deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, I can navigate that. And then coming back and sitting down and being like, right, take a deep breath. We're going to do it methodically. Don't panic. And just repeating that. You're going to find it. Don't worry about it.
You're going to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell the universe you're going to find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We only leave it in 2 places. We're organized. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know, and that's how it shows up. It's not, you know, there's a great video on YouTube. Dan Harris did it. And it's like mindfulness. It's a mindfulness video. I can't remember the name of it. It's brilliant. It's animated in his voiceover. And there's a bit on it, and it's like mindfulness is not rainbows and unicorns. And you're like, exactly. Like it's not going to be this beautiful. I'm going to take a deep breath, and you know everything's going to be fine, and there's rainbows in the sky, and you know da da da. Like you're still going to be stressed.
Yeah.
But you're not as stressed as you were before.
Yeah.
And the next time you do it, you won't be as stressed as you were just then. And eventually, you know it. And then you're going to have a day where it doesn't work, and your stress levels go through the roof.
Yeah.
But that's okay because we're human, right?
Exactly.
And that happens. And maybe we just come out of that stress a bit quicker, with a bit more compassion, with a little bit more kindness to ourselves, to others, you know? And we're like, okay, I survived that one. I can move on, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah. And I love that the humanness as well. Like that resonated with me. I was like, you're right. Mindfulness, it's not always pretty. If it was unicorns and this and that, they would call it an orgasm, but they don't. They call it mindfulness. Like,
right?
That's what it is. It's messy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So I sidetracked in my brain. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna say. So I really love the fact you do the women's circles as well, because as humans, like we mirror each other. So, you know, you can walk into an office and you're like, whoa, who freaking died or whatever in here? Because the energy, like you feel whatever you want to call it, the energy is just intense. And we pick up on that because we're like animals, like the part of us is animals, and we really resonate with that. So I think sometimes it's so nice just for you to create a space that maybe people do bring stressful energy in, and you can say, oh wow, I feel that too, I'm not alone, I thought I was the only one, but actually you're feeling it as well. And then together, as you, even if you're the last person to manage to calm down, if everyone else is just at this peaceful state, this breathing, this grounding, this mindfulness state, you can mirror that. Your body can't not mirror that state. And I just love having that space. And it is almost like I know with our meetups as well, like it doesn't matter where we go, but afterwards there's almost like this connection, and everyone's energy is just like afterwards it's like wow, and it's just so nice, and you're connecting on a different level, because it's not like, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. What do you do? I'm a teacher. Oh, you're a teacher. Like it's like actually connecting on a human level, that vulnerable level, and that's where we find those true, deep, meaningful relationships, those meaningful connections. So yeah, I'm excited about the space you've created.
Because one thing that we do at the beginning when we do introduce ourselves, and we just give our name, our pronouns if we're comfortable sharing that, and then depending on the topic of, the theme, the focus of the women's circle, our relationship with that topic right there and then. So there isn't that kind of, well, I do this and I've been in Asia for this long, and none of that, the usual stuff that we would talk about. For example, in this one with the breath, it would be, what's your relationship with your breath right now?
Yeah.
How are you, are you aware even that you're breathing? Like, or are you so distracted that you're not? Or have you noticed that your breath's more in the upper chest? Or are you breathing through your nose, through your mouth? Is it really loud? Is it quiet? Like, what is your relationship with your breath? Because we do it unconsciously, but some people just have no idea. They're like, I've never actually thought about that. So, depending on the circle, we always have that kind of introduction of like, where are you at with it now? And then we will try to bookend it. So one of the last things that we would practice in the circle will be like, has your relationship with, for example, the breath changed since when you walked through the door 90 minutes ago? And then we also practice gratitude. We have a gratitude practice. Like, tell us, just share, if you're comfortable, one thing that you're grateful for from this last 90 minutes. And to echo what you just said, so many people, the most common kind of response to that is, it was so nice, refreshing, comforting, insert many different adjectives here, to know that it's not just me, to know that I'm not alone, to know that other people feel the same way or think the same way or have had the same experiences as I do. It just shows up differently. And to know that I can come here and share and speak and listen and not be judged.
Yeah.
That's a huge takeaway from the women's circles.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and I'm just so grateful that you started that. You created that. So thank you so much, because I think it's so needed right now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
our women's circles as well, just to put this out there, it's for anybody who identifies as female. So they're very inclusive, open to everybody, and we have a really great mix of people coming. We have some regulars that will come every month. For the most part, most people come maybe once every 3-4 months, just because of the nature of them. Some topics don't resonate with them, they're busy, life happens.
Yeah.
But whoever comes, because you're coming to that circle, for the same reason, right? You're just looking for a little bit of connection, a community. There's always, it's always incredibly welcoming. Fun. We laugh a lot. We do lots of fun stuff. I have lots of very silly stories that I'm willing to share.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what people need, right? It's like sometimes people think, oh, I don't want to go to therapy because it's heavy. And sometimes we have such a laugh in therapy. Like we're just like, oh, exploring it is like, oh, what's that like? And there is this like magic, this laughter, which some people haven't had in years.
It's true. It's true. And being able to, I mean, now, just taking that story of the passport, like yesterday I was in it and I was like, this is no fun. Oh my gosh, my songtime's ruined. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I could see there's humor in it. I mean, and again, this wasn't a very big deal. Like, it didn't impact anybody on a very serious level. But at the time, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
But to be able to look back at it and like kind of, you know, to watch it back and go, okay, I can see the good things. I see how I coped, and, you know, and I practiced what I preached and I did that. But I can also see when, yeah, that was worth a little bit of a rip, because that was a little bit silly. And that's
Yeah.
okay. Like, we can laugh at ourselves and it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, and you mentioned earlier as well that you might do like a journaling workshop, and I was saying that we're doing a 21-day challenge now, and some people are
Mm.
drawing. It's a gratitude journal, but I think it would be nice just to have like a whole session where we just go and journal, or like, I don't know, what did you have in mind with that one?
It's still lots of ideas at the moment. I did a journaling diploma the end of last year, and it just was amazing. Like, it was so great. And I've dabbled in journaling on and off for a few years. I get really into it, and then I don't do anything for like 8 months, and then I'll do something else, and then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to journal every day, and da da da, and, you know, and then I'll go buy an expensive journal, and then I'll just look at it for a long time, and then I
Yeah,
feel guilty, and I just get in this really weird, not weird. I get in, let me rephrase that. I get in these patterns, these cycles that happen, right?
yeah,
They happen, life happens. So when I did this journaling diploma, I was, because there's a lot more of the backstory behind it as well. Like, that's what's actually got me more engaged into it. Actually understanding whys, you know, like, not just like a, you know, a lot of the time you journal and release and write, and, you know, that's great and that's super important and it's very beneficial. But to understand a bit more of the science behind it, and, you know, what the research has shown and the studies have shown, and how you can utilize journaling in so many different ways, I was like, this is so exciting.
yeah,
You know, like, it doesn't just have to be writing and writing. I'm going to put every emotion on this page. Like, there's so many different ways. And during COVID, I did a contemplative writing course with the
mhm,
Shambhala Meditation Center in Bangkok.
mm,
And the teacher for that, she was brilliant. She
yeah,
was so good. And just to see a whole different way of using journals and words and drawings and color and pen and paper to express yourself, you know, I was like, wow, this is really fun. And then I just kind of sat with it because I was like, I don't really know what to do with it. But now I've done this journaling diploma, I was like, I can begin to see how, you know, all these different modalities could come together.
yeah,
That's kind of where I'm at still in like the thought process. But I think it's such an important tool and an important skill to learn,
yeah,
to, you know, to, because it goes against so much of what we learn at school when it comes to
yeah,
writing and academic writing. Like, there's no such thing as like perfect journaling, because you're just either working through stuff, you might be listing stuff, you might be reflecting, you might be planning, you know, there's so many ways to do it.
yeah.
But to make it authentically you, that's something I found challenging.
Mm,
Oh, I should probably be really spiritual in my journal. I should probably only say nice things, or, you know what I mean? There's so many, because you're taught that, and society teaches you consciously and unconsciously, and like influences your decision making in so many ways.
yeah,
Can I write that about somebody? Can I write that about myself? Like, should I be expressing myself this way? Well, if it feels good for you and that's exactly how you feel right now, because it is a private journal,
mm,
explore it on the paper instead of, you know, potentially saying things that might just, I don't know, hurt someone or anger someone or cause confusion, because
yeah,
you're not really clear on your point of view or your opinion or your real understanding of the topic.
yeah.
Spend some time with you before you go into a big conversation about it with someone else.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea as well, because a lot of people, it's quite normal. Like, a lot of people have like a voice, like a
Mm,
hostile voice, or and it's usually come from a good place. So if you're not checking with your real thoughts and feelings, and really being like, yeah, do you know what, that person really did just piss me off, and maybe
mm,
find the reasons why, that voice will manipulate its way to make it do what you want. So it'll be
mm,
like, do you
mm,
know
mm.
what? It's safer for you to just stay at home, but it's not going to tell you it's safer for you to stay at home. It will just be like, you're worth nothing and no one wants to be around you,
Mm.
or, you know, that person's not nice, or whatever it is. It will
Yeah.
come up with a manipulative way. So I think it's really good to do those check-ins as well that you just said. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but that's how I connected with what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's just another tool for understanding yourself, right? Connecting with yourself and connecting with your truth and your authenticity.
Yeah.
The layers that go on top of it, whether you're consciously or unconsciously aware of them, and then what you think you should be, who you think you should be, based on any factors. So many factors that can influence that: your gender, your age, your religion, you know, your job, all these external factors that might influence what you feel you should be.
Yeah.
And meditation works for some people. I love meditation. I meditate every day. That works for me. Journaling does work for me. Now for me, I'm just trying to make it, how do I make it more habitual? Because when I do journal, I'm like, wow, that was really helpful, or something came out. Or sometimes you just feel good. You've had a really good day and you just want to write all the good stuff down. Because, you know, it's not so normal in our society to celebrate ourselves.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, today was amazing. Like I did this and I had that conversation with somebody and I saw a rainbow and, you know, all these great things happen. But it's not very common to talk about that for whatever reason. So even if it's just writing all the good stuff down, like how nice is that to finish? I do my journaling at the end of the day. That works for me, just practically and logistically, and it just feels right. And when you do those days and you kind of like go into bed and you're like, oh, it just feels so good, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nice. And then when you have the shittier days, you can be like, okay, I still feel kind of shitty, but at least I can leave my words in that journal downstairs, away from the bedroom. You know, they can stay there for tonight. I'm just gonna go sleep.
Yeah. This is where I need to be right now. I need to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's not going to take any more energy away from me, my sleep.
And I've written it down and I can deal with it tomorrow because I've written it down, so I don't have to keep ruminating on it. I don't have to keep thinking about it. And I'll deal with, you know, like you're saying, that voice. I'll deal with that voice tomorrow. Now it's bedtime. And you know, I can sleep now.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've got a really good hold on yourself as well, because we do have these different parts of us popping up, or like voices. I think of them as like primary school teachers, in the way it's like, I remember my maths teacher was like, this is, well, secondary school actually, this is the most important subject. And I'd be like, but I've got history homework. History is like, no, this is the most important homework. And then English was like, no, this is the most. So it's, I feel like that's in my brain sometimes. So to be able to be like, look, you be quiet, you sit down. So, no, don't like, right now we are sleeping and I've written it down, so I'm not going to forget. And you, no, I can see you, but you know, like whatever it is, and just being able to be, because our brain does do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's designed to do, right? Our brain is designed to shift. Sorry, there's a fly flying around. That's why I keep waving. Our brain is designed to keep jumping around. It keeps us safe. It's something that is just evolutionary that we haven't grown out of, uninvolved. I don't know what the word would be, but we haven't, you know, we still use that. We still use that to make sure that every decision is a safe and informed decision. But now there's so many other things leading in and influencing our decisions, subconsciously and consciously. Sometimes it just gets really confusing. Like, what is it that I need to focus on right now? Should I be at the gym? Should I be ordering that food? Should I have a face mask on? Should I be outside? What should I be doing? Actually, I should just be here with me right now. That's all I need to be doing.
Yeah. Because sometimes that can get people stuck in the house, not leaving. Yeah. Okay, I have so many questions I want to ask you, but I know your time, you're such a busy person. So if you had one piece of advice for anyone struggling with mental health right now, what would that piece of advice be?
That piece of advice would be to circle back to everything we've been talking about. Take a breath. Just take a breath. It's not going to cure anything. It's just going to give you a little bit of time. And then in that moment, maybe take 10 breaths, take 100 breaths. And when I say breath, I don't just mean like breathe once, like take an intentional deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe you take many of them. That's okay, right? But in that moment, just have a pause. Connect back to you. Maybe it's just the sensation of your feet on the ground. Maybe you can do like the countdown, like 5 things I can see, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can hear, just to bring you back to that present moment.
Yeah.
And make a resolve to yourself in that breath that you are going to speak to someone. Not necessarily a therapist, not anybody that, it doesn't have to be. It could just be your mum or your mate or somebody that you don't really know that well, but they said something that resonated with you,
Yeah.
and you've got them on WhatsApp and you haven't spoken to them for a few months. Like, it doesn't matter. Just reach out to somebody and just say, I'm not okay. Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Or can you listen to me? Can you help me? Or anything. Just to start that conversation. And I think that's the most important thing. And it can be the hardest thing. Just having that first, like, out loud verbalization of, like, can someone help me? Is really scary.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, which is why I say take that breath first, build up your courage, give yourself a pep talk, and then just say, like, can you help me? Or can you listen to me? Or I need help, or I don't feel okay. Like, I'm struggling, whatever resonates with you. And, and that person might not necessarily, unless it's someone like a therapist or, who is qualified to deal with mental health and support mental health and well-being. If it's just your mate or somebody that you've just met that you feel a connection with, they might just be there to go, yeah, I'm here. Or have you checked out this website? Or, check out this Instagram page, or go, and there's this great Facebook group, and that might be what their role is in your healing process. But, and then maybe one day you get to speak to somebody professional, somebody who is qualified to help you. I think that's really important. Yeah.
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 And also, like, if that person isn't available, like maybe they've got their own shit going on and they can't reply to you, or they changed the number, or they're away, or something, there could be a million reasons why that person doesn't reply to you. Like, if you've got the courage to reach out to one person,
you've got the courage to reach out to 2.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And just knowing that you sending that message saying, hey, I'm not okay and I need help, that is you having your own back.
Yes.
So that's also something, like, not to forget. I got my own back too. I'm not going to give up. Even if there is no one in this earth, I've still got me.
Yeah.
And I think that's so powerful as well. And it's something you can build on.
Right. And it doesn't have to be spoken. It could be an email. It could be a text message. It could be a letter. Whatever you feel takes that pressure off of you to be able to say those words.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how they're said. The important thing is saying them in a way that, resonates with you as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
Yeah. And again, so many questions, but I'll just ask you one more question.
Sure.
What positive impact would you like to have on the community?
So for me, I have Mindful Sparks as the business I'm building, a mindfulness focused business, mainly focusing on education. My background's a teacher. I've been in education most of my life. And what I'm trying to do, what Mindful Sparks is trying to do, the impact we're trying to create, is to create a world of connection and compassion and community and celebration. That's what we're trying to build through mindfulness practices and events and trainings and workshops and curriculum. And we want to be part. There's already a great mindfulness movement in the States with mindful schools, in the UK with .B program. We want to be that one for Asia. There isn't that over here. And there's a lot of, there's mindfulness within a lot of cultures in Asia, meditation, things like that. We want to take it to schools and we want to make it mainstream. And, where mental, emotional, physical well-being is everyone's top priority.
Yeah.
That's the impact that we want to have. I want to have, Mindful Sparks wants to have. That's what we're aiming for.
Yes. And you know what? I wish we had better mental health when I went to school. Like, honestly, I probably wouldn't have gone through the trauma. Not that I wouldn't have gone through the trauma, but I wouldn't have hit the rock bottom that I did. When my university said you need a counselor, and I was like, I'm not going to counselor. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I wish I had that mindfulness, A, to help myself, and B, to take away the stigmas of everything. Because there's so much stigma here. Like, I've got quite a few clients, and they're like, yeah, my parents do not believe in therapy. My parents, like, they just come from a culture where it's not okay. It's like airing your dirty laundry. And it's like, actually, it's not. It's human. It's
Oh my
connection.
gosh.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And I am seeing shifts. There are shifts with each
Yes.
generation. I'm seeing these shifts. The shift has been in me, which is I was really like one of those like, nah, man, kind of people, and like changed so much. And yeah, I think it's so important, the work that you're doing, no matter what country you're doing it in. So thank you so much. And I really do honestly appreciate your time, Lily. Like,
No, thank you. I appreciate to have this chat and, you know, the support, and it's just really, really awesome. It's awesome that more conversations like this are happening.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will be in Vietnam, I think, on your next Women's Circle.
Nice.
But I would,
Enjoy.
thank you. I would love to come to one of yours, especially the journaling as well, like to just
Yes.
pick your brains, your knowledge and stuff. And
Yeah.
because I get bored really easily, and I need something kind of stimulating. And I know there's a lot of people out there too. And I feel like you've just got some gifts that you could share with us to make things more fun. I just get that sense. So
Oh yeah. But no, definitely. I think after Songkran we should have a proper conversation about the journaling one and see where it builds to, see where it develops.
yeah,
Because we
amazing.
are doing, just a last little quick plug, we do have a curriculum like this in schools that we're rolling out next academic year. So myself and Rose, my teammate who works she's based in the UK, she's just phenomenal. She's phenomenal, and she's created these amazing prompts, and the teacher training to go behind it is phenomenal. And to quickly go back to what you said about how you wish you had this in schools,
Yeah.
same. I mean, just to give language to adults to use to children to encourage compassionate conversation and active listening is so powerful, so powerful. And you know, to then take elements of that and elements of, say, like the women's circle, to create a new medium for us to explore and connect with us, I think is just so exciting.
Yeah, yeah, amazing work. Yeah, and you've got the vision. You've obviously got an amazing support as well.
Yeah,
And
I have a
yeah,
very phenomenal team. They're
yeah,
amazing.
I look forward to seeing where it goes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Hi, you're most welcome. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.